Good morning, boys and girls, and it is Wednesday today, and I'm back in school. Now, I'm not in my own classroom. Can you see where I am? There's a toaster and a fridge and a cooker. That's right, I'm in the breakfast room. But unfortunately, there's no breakfast here, so I'll just have to do work instead. Before I do, I just wanted to say that I hope you enjoyed yesterday's activities for Children's Mental Health Week, the songs, and today I will post another little activity for you again. So there's more songs coming for you today. So I hope you get your dancing shoes on and get dancing. Also today, we have our Healthy Kids activity as well from 11:15 to 11:15. I think it's with Kirsty again today. So hopefully you can join us on Zoom for our Healthy Kids workout today. Now we'll start by writing our date. So please make sure you do this every morning before you start anything else. Write down your date. It's great to get into the habit of writing our date every day. So today, as you know, is Wednesday. And Wednesday is quite a long word, and it has a little N in the middle, which is hard to hear. So sometimes we forget to put that little N in Wednesday. Wednesday, Wednesday. And it's the third day of February, so we say 3RD for third. February, so it has an extra little R in there, so don't forget it, February. And of course, it's 2021. So make sure you begin by writing your date. Then we move on to our spellings, and we are continuing to practice the H sound, as you know, made using H or WH. So let's read out the words and you repeat after me. Help, have, he's, hide, half, here, who, whose, happy, and having. So we have looked through all of our sounds in focus already, so we'll just move on then to our literacy. Today we are working on a comprehension, and as you very well know, a comprehension is where you read a text. It could be a made-up story or it could be a non-fiction text. And then afterwards you answer questions on the story, okay? Today we are reading a fable, and a fable is a made-up story that teaches you a lesson or a moral. There's always a moral at the end of the story, which is a piece of advice or a lesson to live by. So the lesson or the moral at the end of this story is keep trying even when things seem hard. All right, so we're going to read through the story and see that how we learn that moral, how we learn that you must keep trying even when things get hard. And that fits in nicely with our Children's Mental Health Week work, boys and girls, as well, because we've been looking at how to try your best to believe in yourself in order to achieve. All right, so let's look at our story. You will know this story, I'm sure you've heard it before. The Tortoise and the Hare. And there they are there in the picture. All right. So you can look at your own page because the phone might be a bit wobbly as I'm reading through this. So if you hold your own page in your hand and you can just listen to my voice, okay? So I'll read through it once and then I want you to try to read it to someone at home. All right. Once there was a strong young hare who bragged about how fast he could run. The wise tortoise thought he was a show-off, so he asked the hare for a race. The hare thought he would easily beat the tortoise. All of the animals gathered at the finish line to see who would win. As soon as the race started, the hare dashed ahead. After a little while, he stopped for a rest. "You are so slow, you will never win," he said to the tortoise. The hare leaned against a tree. "That tortoise will never beat me," he laughed to himself. The hare closed his eyes and soon he was asleep. The tortoise walked slowly past the hare. He didn't give up until he got to the end of the race. The animals cheered as they saw the tortoise. "Tortoise, you are the winner," they shouted happily. The hare heard the cheering and woke up. He ran as fast as he could towards the line, but it was too late. The tortoise had already crossed the line. "It's not fair," complained the hare. "We have to do the race again." But this time, no one listened to the hare. And the moral of the story is, keep trying, even when things seem hard. So let's look at our questions then. And for the first few questions, you just have to tick a box. You have to tick which answer you think is best. Now, question 1. Which words are used to describe the hare in the first sentence? Now, you have to tick 2 of these. So you'll have to look back through the text and tick 2 of these boxes. Was he described as short, strong, thin, or young? He was described as 2 of those things, but which 2? So when you're working on this at home, boys and girls, the grown-up at home should see you doing this between each question, okay? You should be looking back through the text every time you go to answer a question. Question 2 then asks you, why did the hare decide to stop for a rest? And you have 3 choices. Because it was a sunny day, because he thought that the tortoise was so slow that he would never beat him, or because his feet were hurting. Which one was it? For question 3 then, you have to draw a line to complete the sentences. So you've got the start of the sentence on one side and the end of the sentence on the other. And the first one has been done for you. The tortoise walked slowly past the hare. So that's one complete sentence. Let's read through these other sentence starters. It's not fair. As soon as the race started, the hare heard the cheering. And then the end of each sentence is, the hare dashed ahead and woke up quickly, or complained the hare. So, for example, it's not fair. The hare dashed ahead. Well, that doesn't really make sense. It's not fair, and woke up quickly. It's not fair, complained the hare. You pick the one that makes the most sense and join the beginning and the end of the sentence with a line. Question 4 then says, in the story, the tortoise is described as wise. Tick one word which means the same as wise. Funny, clever, or angry. You tick one of those. And finally then in question 5, it asks you, what is the moral of the story? Now, do you remember we said the moral is the lesson that you learn at the end of the story? And we talked about the moral. In fact, we read it first before we even read the story. So you find the moral in the story. It's very obvious there. And you copy it out for your last answer. Okay? For our maths then, we are continuing on with our 4 times tables. And we're now on these pages here. They have the date at the top of them there to keep you right. So yesterday you wrote out the 4 times tables. Today you're trying to complete 4 times tables questions, but they're in a mixed up order. Now, try your best if you can to do it without the tables, or go through some of them and do some of them that you can without looking back or having a peek at your work from before. Now, for example, 0 times 4 you'll be able to do on your own. 1 times 4, 4 times 0, that's the same as 0 times 4. Even 2 times 4 you could do on your own. But maybe when it gets to some of those bigger ones, you might want to have a little peek at yesterday's page just to help you to remember. All right? And don't forget to keep practicing on Hit the Button as well, because it is great for practicing times tables. Your other page today says, I can find the products of the 4 times tables. And a product, as we know, is an answer in the 4 times tables. So, for example, 4 times 0 is 0. So 0 is a product of the 4 times tables. It is an answer in the 4 times tables. So you're going to go around these numbers and circle the ones that would be answers in your 4 times tables. Okay, so for example, would 15 be an answer? not so sure. We did say 0 was a product of the 4 times tables. So you need to look back at your answers again and circle any 4 times tables answers that you can see. All right. Boys and girls, don't forget to keep reading as well. I have been delighted to receive messages from many of you asking for more books, telling me, Mrs. McFadden, I've run out of books to read. I need more. I want to do more quizzes. So that is great. It is music to my ears. And also continue on with Some Dog if you have time, although you may be working more on Hit the Button this week. But just do whatever your time allows you to do. And don't forget your PE today as well, okay, at 11:15. See you then. Bye-bye.